The Colorado Avalanche have a 2.1% chance to win the Central Division. That might sound quite low, but the Nashville Predators are so low they have a 0.01% chance of winning the Central Division. So who's going to win this game? Let's start the pregame show. Welcome into the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Avalanche pregame show, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by our friends over at Coors Light. The Avs taking on the Nashville. Good right there. Yeah. Look, the Predators are bad this year.
Woof. But they had a big win 2 nights ago, right?
There's some data to suggest that they're probably not playing up to the level that they should be, that a lot of things have gone against them this year. Not saying they're a great team like so many people thought.
I thought they were going to be good. You thought they were going to be bad, so you're bang on. But here's what I'll say. It's not a 30-game season, right? You know what I mean? And I stick to that all the time. Do I see them coming out of it like last year they came out of it?
I mean, it's
maybe not.
It's a pretty deep hole they've got to dig out of right now.
It's a deeper hole than last year. But I was watching practice this morning, and I'm like, how can this team be that bad in this, record-wise? You know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way. And I like Bruno, ex-Avs, Andrew Brunette. I do. I'm not blaming Coach. I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know why that mix is not working, but it just has not worked on a consistent basis.
Well, let me back up your thought with some statistics here, because really when you do look at it, there are some things that Nashville does struggle with, but the biggest one, both of these teams, the two unluckiest teams in the league when it comes to PDO.
Okay.
Both of them ridiculously low on that. For the Avs side, that's more save percentage. For Nashville's side, that's more shooting percentage. Goals for, actually, Nashville also terrible at actual production, but their expected goals for is still bad, but not worst in the league level bad. So they really just are not scoring effectively. Even if they're generating quality chances, they're not converting them often enough, especially at 5-on-5, as that shooting percentage shows. Nashville shooting just 5.69% at 5-on-5. That's over a full percentage point lower than the next lowest team. They're a little bit cursed offensively this season. They haven't been able to finish anything. All of those stats on the Avs side, they're either above middle of the pack or in that area, except for actual goals for, where they're a little bit below. But their expecteds, like Nashville, is a lot better than their actual. So there is stuff to indicate that both of these teams are probably better than they've shown this year. With that being said, the Avs are currently in 15th in the league with their actual points percentage on the season, and Nashville's in 31st. So if both of those teams are better than they've shown, the Avs should be the better team in theory.
Boy, oh boy, and I was just looking at Stamkos, right? And I feel for him a little bit. I do. I think when you have a certain level of success, right? I mean, you would say that his tenure in Tampa, coming as really his early years in Tampa were not good. I'm saying as a team.
Yep.
Of course, he was a young man, and then all of a sudden you achieve some sort of success and some league success, and he's had one coach, right? In the last 10 years now in Cooper. They've had multiple. I don't want to hear about the bubble. At the end of the day, they still won. I'm saying so they've had success,
of course,
and the things work a certain way, and then you go somewhere else. It's like a rude awakening, because sometimes it takes time for guys to adjust because they're not used to the way things are done, and then the guys in Nashville that have been there for a long time, they do things a certain way, and it's not because you're coming in that you're going to all of a sudden change things that are done there. So it can become a little bit of tricky at times for guys to adapt. And,
I mean, when you make major sweeping changes to your lineup the way Nashville did this offseason, it
those are
not
big
clicking
ones.
is always a risk. Like, that's always part of the conversation.
And again, I was telling you, I'm watching practice this morning, I'm like, how come that's not clicking? That should click when if you look on paper, you put those three guys together, for example, like, Marchessault, Stamkos and Forsberg, then, I mean, you would think it would work, or maybe you're saying why three righties don't work. I don't know. I'm just throwing a stupid example, but I can see why it can be a little bit, slow to. But the inconsistency has just been almost on a nightly basis, right? They think they're out of it, then all of a sudden they sink right back down. And again, hopefully tonight is the night that it's been that pattern where they beat Dallas, and then all of a sudden they come here and sink right back down. You don't want them to keep going and feel good about themselves because you beat Dallas, you beat Colorado. All of a sudden you're like, okay, hey guys, see, we're pretty good. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully tonight's not the night that they wake up.
On the Avs side of things, Mackenzie Blackwood getting his first start for the Colorado Avalanche tonight. You guys talked about it a little bit in your Hockey in the Rockies, so let's see what you guys said for morning skate today.
It's Hockey in the Rockies time from Ball Arena. Game day on a Saturday. The Nashville Predators in town. Gizmo and Big E. This is an important game because of the need to bounce back after the letdown game when you come home. However, the wrinkle is there's something going through that room right now, and the guys are a bit under the weather.
I think you're going to see it the first period there. If they got their energy, if they can muster up some energy. How do you muster up energy when you are under the weather? Well, you got to pray to the hockey gods that you do get the good bounces. You got to make sure that you don't give anything away on a silver platter like a bad penalty. You want to make sure that you play a simple game and that the bounces go your way, but you want to create your own emotion. And not a lot of home games at Ball Arena this obviously this month. This kind of a holiday game type of thing. It's a Saturday. Make sure that the crowd's there behind you. Give them a reason to cheer and give you a little bit of some energy, and that's how you muster it.
Crowd was a little on the more tame side, will be polite, last game, so hopefully they get into it tonight. Something that they will have to cheer about. Blackwood will make his first appearance as a Colorado Avalanche. Wedgwood has been phenomenal in net. Jared Bednar just sung his praises, but tonight it's Mackenzie getting his first start.
Hey, first of all, when you put a different jersey, and especially an Avalanche jersey, if you're a guy like Mackenzie Blackwood, that you're a UFA, it's almost a Christmas gift, right? Because you're going to go on a championship caliber team. He's never been in those situations, and he probably believed since he was a young kid that he would be competing for something like that. So this is a great opportunity for him. I think he's going to play on adrenaline. I know he's been sick a little bit the last few days, but he's got a couple practices in, and tonight purely adrenaline and probably childhood dreams coming true in the sense that who wasn't a fan of the Avalanche back then when he his age growing up. So good for him, and I think he's going to do fantastic.
Puck drop tonight, 7 o'clock, Ball Arena. They will have it for you on Altitude and on 92.5 on the radio. We will have the pregame show for you at 6:30. The watch along, I'll join from the arena, and postgame, of course, following the action. DNVR has you covered from tip to tail. We'll see you tonight for the Predators.
So there you go for the morning skate update. Is there a little bit to live up to for Blackwood here? Obviously, the way you saw Wedgwood start in Colorado was quite good. I know it's a little bit of a different scenario, but he comes in relief, pitches a shutout, has another shutout in his first three starts. Does Blackwood have to match that, or is this kind of a, hey, this is your first game, you're just getting adjusted here?
I think it's more like it's a dream come true. I think when you're a little kid, you dream to win the Stanley Cup. And I think realistically where he's been, New Jersey in those early years where they weren't going to win the Stanley Cup. Right? I think you have to be realistic. Everybody plays, everybody wants to win, but they weren't going to win. Then he gets traded to a rebuild in San Jose for a couple years. And I think now you're a UFA, and then you're like, oh, here's my shot. Here's my chance. And I think that if you're doing the math, he's a 28-year-old fella, correct? Give and take, I believe.
He is 28 exactly.
So,
yep.
Let's say you started playing goalie 20 years ago, 22 years ago. You're probably 6, 7 years old. I think you have to look back and say, the Patty Waz and Marty Brodeurs and those kids, that's,
He said in his presser that the Avs were his favorite team. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you would know that, that the ghosts of Patrick Roy in that building is there as a goaltender. You're gonna say, "Oh, Darcy Kemper." No, I know, but I mean, I know Varley used to talk about it, like, you know what I mean, and be like, "Hey, basically, like this is the house that Waugh built," and and he wanted to, emulate it, and I think that for Blackwood tonight, I think it's a little bit of everything, and it's like I said, I think it's more like, okay, I got to start on the right foot. I got to start where this is for the first time in my career, I'm having a legit shot at winning a cup as a team, and then obviously better myself by doing it as a UFA. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure doing it. But I think if you just go there, just go and be yourself and be the goalie that you can be. And like we said, it's a little bit different to be the goalie for the Avalanche. Sometimes you can go 10, 12, 14 minutes without a shot. We'll see if he's good at that. We all know he's good at volume shots, right? As Rudo talks about it all the time, as they, he's been facing a lot of shots in San Jose. This is kind of usually not the way it is here in Colorado.
True. They often do hold him to a few, but you would like to see get him off to the right start. How can the Avs help him do that with the 3 keys tonight, E?
Yeah, so let's, I can't read tonight, man. Number one, need a rebound game. I think Rudo said it best on the show yesterday, and he said it best on the post-game show after that frustrating, tired, whatever you want to call it, loss last game, right? If you win tonight, everything goes out the window from that night. Yep. So, we go back to enough now. No 2 losses in a row. Create your own emotions tonight. I think Bednar touched up on it a little bit. The guys are a little bit under the weather. Again, not an excuse. It's just a fact. And sometimes you have to manage ice time when you have that type of stuff. And, so get after it. Create your own emotions. Number 2, communicate. New goalies. You know what I mean? Like, and I think as a hockey team, once that's, this is new for Blackwood tonight. Not Blackwood. Blackwood. Man, Wedgwood, Blackwood. It's new tonight for Blackwood, where up and over should be the only 2 words that you're going to hear from the D's tonight, right?
Yep.
When if he gets the puck behind the net, up is all right, you go back the other way, and over is back the other way. You know what I mean? And keep it simple. Those can be tricky, and communicating, is key tonight. And be vocal on all 3 zones and on the bench. He said it. Bednar keeps talking about it. The guys like Middleton, Blackwood, and Wedgwood, and bringing a little bit more personalities in a room that's usually quiet. He said it last night. He goes, "This is nothing new. It was like that in 2022, and this is nothing." Guys. He doesn't expect guys to be rah 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 rah. He expects guys though to bring in and maybe bring a couple different voices. So
yeah,
you know what? Let's be vocal. Let's help out with the reads and go from there. Number 3, take time and space away. Nash. Only has 68 goals for this year. Rudo just showed it on his graphic there.
31 at 5-on-5.
I mean, that 31 at 5-on-5.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, that is not a lot after 30 games played.
Yeah,
that is absolutely
saying.
atrocious.
Yeah.
So frustrate them with some quick outs out of the D zone. Make them defend. Don't make them play in the offensive zone, and then make them go. Here we go again. They're coming off a big win in Dallas. Make them come back to reality tonight. The best way to do that is what? Pin them in their own end. Don't let them go and feel good and go play in the nice sandbox. The offensive zone is the sandbox. Make them go do the hard work in their own end, and we all know that nobody likes to do that.
No one wants to work hard out here. That's
nobody
for sure.
does.
Despite
Nobody
that,
does.
you mentioned it, Bednar talked about the Avs being a little bit under the weather tonight, so it's never quite so straightforward for this hockey team, it seems. But Bednar did have a few other things to say at morning skate, so let's hear from head coach.
Go ahead, guys.
Coach, what are you kind of focusing on tonight against Nashville with Blackwood in net?
Nothing in particular to him, but our focus is on playing a full 60 to our capabilities. We've been playing some good hockey here. I thought last game our energy was down. We did the best we could yesterday with our circumstances to try and give everyone as much rest and recovery as possible. Now I expect us to be an energized group here today.
How is everyone feeling?
Okay. I mean, the guys that are not sick are feeling good, but we've got something going through our room that's more than just a couple guys, and they're a little bit worn down.
Coach, I know it's only been a week, but what have you noticed about Blackwood so far that makes you feel like he's ready for this tonight?
Well, I mean, he played a bunch of games there, right? And he did get sick too, but he's been feeling better the bulk of the week. So even though he's had a couple of days off there and went through some hectic transition, I think got to get him in. Got to get him in before he's sitting too long. So he feels ready, and he sat in some meetings already. I mean, I love his personality in our room. I think that's translating to the ice. I hope he goes out and has a really good game for us and starts feeling comfortable with their team. No better time than the present.
O'Connor's underlying numbers to start the year were good. He was just having trouble
Yep.
putting in the net. Do you feel like it's all kind of come together for him?
I think he's playing much better now. Yeah, to me, I think like OC's never going to cheat you on his work ethic, his competitiveness. He never, even at the start of the year where I thought he was struggling, it was more puck play stuff. It just didn't seem to be coming easy for him. He was beating up the puck all over the ice. He wasn't recognizing when he had time. He even felt the same way just talking to him. We're just trying to get him relaxed with it a little bit. I think you continue to work that way. You continue to pay attention to your game with video, watching his shifts, talking to coaches, teammates. Like the stability on his line now has helped. I'd like that all those guys mesh and have a like-minded attitude and competitiveness. So I think their line is really coming together, and I think his game sort of elevating has a big part to do with that.
Ross Colton had early season success on the top power play
Yeah.
unit, and it looks like you might be giving him another look. What
Yeah.
are you hoping for him to add there, and how did you make that decision?
Yeah, like those decisions are tough because like what he provides to the power play is very similar to what, say, Lecky does, right? Val's sort of an enigma in the net front. Casey, a little bit different skill set down there. But, hey, when it goes, you can't – we look at it, we're like, it should work. There's no reason why it isn't working when you kind of start digging into the details, and they just haven't had a bunch of success. They did it earlier in the year, so I don't think you get stuck with it. We have multiple capable players of going on the number one unit, so we're going to flip it back the way we had it at the start of the year, and hopefully it benefits both units. It should be, light a fire under Casey to get more involved again. All of them want to play on that top unit, right? So it's a reward to go there and play with Kale, Mac, and Mikko. And so when it's working, we'll leave it the same. When it's not, I don't think we can be scared of the change and giving other guys opportunities. And regardless of what they bring to the table, that they make it work and execute and get rewarded for their efforts.
In light of it helping both units, is that also maybe something where give yourself a little bit more of an option with that second unit?
Yeah, well, we've had it with Colton and Casey too, so it kind of, and that's something we talked to those guys about. Like early in the year, the number two unit doesn't see a bunch of ice time. Now, we were missing a bunch of guys. It was, young guys in Ivan, Covey, et cetera, and you got your proven guys and they're clicking at 40%. Like, we're good with them. Like, almost half the power plays are ending with a goal for us. And the other ones, they're creating a bunch of chances in zone time, and they stretch it out and can play a full 2 minutes, right? When it's not going well and they're skating lengths of the ice going on the breakout and they're not executing, we're encouraging them to get off the ice and give the other unit a try, especially now because it's a strong unit. I mean, you got Taser G, you've got Lehkonen, Val, like all guys that can play on the top unit. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like if it goes good, great. If not, we'll try and get the second unit some ice time and see if they can deliver.
You're playing the Predators shortly after the goalie trade. What do you like about Scott Wedgwood's game, and how do you feel like he's adjusting?
Yeah, he's been great. He really has been great. I think focused, experienced, manages the game real well for us. He's made some big saves at key times for us. I mean, he's given us a quality start in almost all of his starts, and he's been able to win some hockey games for us. I like his personality. I like his there's this. I mean, he's a really good teammate. I think he provides a lot to our team. He kind of helps stabilize that position for us, and now we're adding Blackwood in, and hopefully it gets even better.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
So a bit of a personnel swap on power play one. Do you think this really could make a significant difference? Because to me, if I'm being honest, power play one really boils down to McKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar more than anything else.
It does. And I'm just, again, if you look at the last couple of years when it's hot, like Val's been a big piece of that. I like what Val can do with those three pieces that you just talked about because of the big net front presence. He's a unicorn. There's no. I mean, I believe he's the best net front presence in the National Hockey, or one of the best. And I do.
Now that
believe,
Joe Pavelski's retired.
Well, exactly. Yeah. God, is he good? But Val's so big. He's good at tipping pucks. He's hard to move, and I think put him in on the second year. We'll see. I still. I mean, I laugh all the time, and I've given up because I've been pushing for 2 power plays for 2 years now. Yeah. You know that, but
they just won't do it.
I don't think they'll do it. And I think that the guys that are out there they're just not gonna. I think they'll look off at the bench, and I'm not saying it's selfish. It's just the way that they've been doing it, and the way they've had success. And but now they're not having success, right? We've talked about it. They're talking about it now. It's starting to creep up. It's like when you have a few losses, and you're like, it's creeping up. Right now, their inability to put the puck on the net on the power play right now, and could potentially lead you to being the fault of losing games, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, they're trying to do something. I think they're overreading it, overthinking it, but we'll see. And we'll see when the game starts what happens.
Yep. And just to confirm, it is the same lineup as last game, except for Blackwood in for Wedgwood. Yep. That is the only change. So
Wedge or Black.
Yep. Very simple. Not too difficult to change the lineup on that one. You don't have to.
4 letters. 5 letters.
5 letters. Yeah.
Sorry. Close enough.
Look, I think realistically, you are still in a situation where, as the Colorado Avalanche, you kind of do need to win tonight. I'm not calling it a must-win game or anything, but you as a hockey team are in the portion of the season where you have to start making hay. You have to start winning pretty regularly. I'm talking playing 650, 700 level hockey. It's getting to that time of year. You've probably dragged on longer than you wanted it to as is. So you really have to start winning regularly. You said it in your 3 keys. Don't lose 2 in a row. If you can bounce back from your losses, it's really easy to pick up a couple of extra wins here and there.
And a big picture, if you look at it, I was reading Brendan's tweet 2 days ago, whatever. It was 11-5 last 16 before last game. And because of the big hole that was created from the get-go, you need to go on that run. Yep. And they have, for the most part, the last few weeks. And then when you have one, I'm talking about a loss, then they've been able to get back to it. You
They've been better about that
that's
lately.
It. So I think tonight you're right.
That up. Yeah.
Not a must win. Nobody is that dumb here at DNVR Avalanche.
I'm pretty dumb.
But you're right. It's a must win of in a sense that you have to start making those bounce back games. When you drop one, then you have to get in that mode now. You don't want to be in that mode right before playoff starts. You want to make sure that from now on, all the little playoff things, like never losing 2 in a row, are starting to get into effect on a game like tonight.
I'm hoping for a fun one. I'll put it to you that way.
I do believe it.
The other night was not a particularly fun hockey game to watch.
I think tonight will be good. I'm excited for it. I felt good in the building this morning. You know what? I think this is going to be good. There hasn't been a lot of home games. You have 2 games before the Christmas break at home, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just kind of holiday games. Usually, I call this a holiday game tonight. You know what I mean? Meaning hey, look, there's Christmas lights everywhere. There's holiday lights everywhere. It's the season, So usually it's fun. Usually it's exciting. And I think tonight, I'll be shocked if they come out like no energy, even though when you're sick, you can muster up some energy. You know what I mean? I think that if you do a combo of sick and the road trip coming back, and you do the combo there, it's a tough combo where I think you can battle one of them tonight, which is just, if you're under the weather a little bit, they'll figure out they can manage ice time and go from there,
I think there are a lot of factors going into it, but let's get into my bets. Yeah. Maybe some guys that are going to overcome the flu. Best way to do it, play with a lead. The Avs continue to be one of the best teams with a lead if you can have a lead exiting the first period. It's plus 210 for the Avs to win the first 10. They get a goal in the first 10 minutes. Maybe you feel a little bit better. Maybe you get a surge of energy to shake off a little bit of that flu going around the team. Second one, Blackwood, over 26.5 saves. With that flu, you got to think your goalie's going to have to be good tonight. keep
That's
you
a
in the
good
game,
point.
give yourself a chance to win. And then I'm taking Sammy G for an assist at plus 210. That's pretty darn good money for a guy who picks up an assist about every other game. So
Where I'm going.
jump in with Gerard on that one. Make sure you're making your pregame picks with Bet365. It's never ordinary over there. Sign up with code DNVR365 to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 on anything at the
Points
new
or
account.
assists?
Assists specifically for the plus
I'm doing it
210.
right now.
Jump on it. Do that with Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. As we get down to the final couple of minutes here,
Done.
Final score predictions?
God, I was way off. I said 3 points from Middlestat last game. It wasn't pretty. I'm not bagging on Casey. I'm saying it was not very good. Tonight I'm gonna go. I'm going with Kiwi Ranta. That gets not 1 but 2 goals. That's my wacky prediction. And I'm gonna go with. I think the Avs win 5-1. That's just my prediction. Tonight.
5-1.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know who to take. I'll say Colton. I'll say Colton goes well tonight. Picks the Avs up a little bit. Helps that top 6 out.
I mean, according to Keaton Middleton, is taking 2 spots.
Impressive.
lineup.
That is impressive. Look
Left,
at that.
right, D.
Wearing 2 numbers. He cloned himself
Sick.
over the weekend. Yeah. Found his long lost brother or something. Yeah.
Same face. No?
No, different faces.
Oh, I can't see the freaking light is in my face, but
Anyway, I don't think either of those are Keaton Middleton. That was weird. Anyway.
I agree with you. That graphic was not right.
I liked your one. I liked your 1 number for Nashville. I'm going to say it's only like 3-1.
All right, fair enough.
A little bit more of a low-scoring game, I think, might help a sickly Avs team. We'll see how it all plays out ultimately. But look, this is a little bit different. I know, Eric, you've opined a lot about the first game back off a road trip is always a killer. Now they've been home for 2-3 days.
No excuse
You
tonight.
should be as ready as you
No.
reasonably can be for this
No,
one.
my and it happens about what 2-3 times a year, right? And that's my only time that I ever bring it up because I have like flashbacks. You know what I mean? Like, and they're hard games to play, man. A guy like me could just hide, but a guy like Joe Sakic, you know, like you play a lot of minutes. You know, people pay a lot of money to bring their family to the game, and you don't want to let anybody down, your teammates down. Then you just have nothing in the tank, and you feel bad for the dudes. You know, it's just a fact.
I don't know who that was at the bottom of the chat who said the bottom half of the forward core looks really bad. I don't think it's as bad as it looks. The Avs are essentially 2 forwards away from having a proper lineup, and that's because Jonathan Drouin and Miles Wood are out of the lineup.
Which, you know, affects. And we all know that the depth in Loveland is not the great. I mean, it's, you know, I mean,
and that's
it's
the part of the
average.
Kovalenko move that hurt, right?
exactly,
Is that
yeah.
your depth is thin now.
Yeah.
But the expectation is when it matters, you'll get healthy and you'll probably add another guy or two
Absolutely.
and you'll be just fine there. But yeah, in the immediate tonight, you're not going to see a whole lot of that fourth line play tonight. I guarantee you that. So
Nope.
Avs do kind of have to manage their way through that a little bit, but that is for Puck Drop, and come join us for the watch along, of course. We'll be talking throughout the game what happens, or if it gets ugly, maybe we'll talk about something else. Who knows? And of course, if that's not your thing, please join us at least for the post game, where we will break down the entire game for you, and we'll have Giz calling in from the arena. It'll be fun. It always is. We do appreciate all y'all hanging out for the pregame show, though. We're going to go prepare for the watch along. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light. We'll see you in a few minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.